Hey folks, just a video. Um, I had someone ask me about how I fought the algae in my tank, and this is what I used. There's 3 patches of this, little 3 cloth bags. Each cloth bag will treat about 27 gallons of water. Actually, bottom, last paragraph, right above the rinse well before use. So I actually I had 3 bags, and then when I did my water maintenance for the filter, and if you remember the video where the filter was rattling, so I figured those bags probably been used a little bit, so I had 3 more bags, and this is actually, I'm noticing, it's a Canadian website. Anyway, but yeah. I have this zoomed up on the Mac. Macs are really cool about that. I give you an idea, running the dual monitor and zoomed in on the website. So, but anyway, and I'm actually filming this on an iPad, so there you go. Apple fanboy, no doubt. But here's the details on that. And notice what it takes out of the water. It traps phosphate, nitrates, and nitrites. I wouldn't do this for a saltwater tank at all, but for freshwater, let's just go back over here. What I did is I put it in the middle filter tray. The top was the pre-filter media, and then the bottom was a biological, and so I put it in the middle. And then if you go back to the video on the channel about I had bubbles in the water, that was when I took out that media completely and just put biological in that second tray. And so that took care of that bloom for me, and it seemed to pull out all the nutrients that were feeding the beard algae, which I don't want. If you look really close, let me see if I can find it on the tank. If we look really close, and there's some old beard algae. Oh, we can see it. See that spot algae? See those dots on the glass? If you can see them, there's right in there. There's one. Some more, and you can see they are on the glass. There's some right in there, lower left. You can see them. But anyway, I got a lot of that on the glass, and I have to get that with a razor blade. There's just not an easy way to scrape that off. This that cleaner right there won't get it. But what I want to say is that's not a bad algae. If you notice it is green. And so what's going on is there's a lot of things in the tank that feed all types of different plant life. And algae is just a different type of plant. It is to me, I don't know. But so the trick is how to make sure that the plants eat what I want them to eat, and the algae that are all probably floating around there don't get enough so that I get this weird beard algae. And you can see it's kind of faded, right? It's just ugly looking. And I can see that in the bottom down there, there's some new growth. And that algae's just killed, I can't tell if that's a microsword or what that is. Same here. If we go down here, you can see the beard algae's kind of dying, and then I got some new growth there on the right. But the point is, or the trick is, what you try to do is you try to, the other thing I did is I cut way back on the light. So this happened when I added a new set of bulbs, and I was running the dual high bulb. And the irony is the dwarf baby tear started doing really well. And if you go back to that video, I'm all excited because the dwarf baby tear is doing well, and then everything else in the plant and the planted tank is falling apart, including this. If you count all the stumps back there on the Madagascar leaf, I had to cut all those leaves to get rid of that beard algae. And then there were some other plants here in the top where I just cut the tops out of them. And then the wisteria, which was taken over in the back, I cut all that down as well. And just made some big changes, and I cut a bunch of stuff out. But for algae, you really have nutrients in the tank, and maybe you have decaying food, maybe you have too much light, I found another issue not too long ago where, the seasons are changing and I have sunlight hitting this tank later in the day. So there's just a lot of things that I changed. Specifically, I cut the time back on my lights. So the highlights, the ones in the front that are kind of the blue highlight that somebody commented they were reef, and they really are kind of a reef light. Let me show you. I've got two ballasts. This ballast here that's got the LED on it, those are the ones in the back. And if you look, I'll let you see the water. They're kind of a green bulb. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to flip this on really quick. Let me see. I've got these labeled F for front and B for back. I'm going to turn these on really quick. But now you can see that ballast is on. Step back a little bit. So they're both on. And I want you to see the difference in the bulb. So these are blue. And Dustin hates these. I know. Dustin, forgive me. I'm not trying to get into an argument with Dustin about anything. The guy knows his tanks and definitely has some great advice. I've never had banana plants do what they're doing until I put organic dirt in my tank following Dustin's advice. But the blue light, the high reef, I wanted something that would penetrate. Blue light tends to penetrate salt water the best, which is why the reef guys use it. But I wanted something to be able to penetrate the water and really get some stuff down into that dwarf baby tier. And it's doing it. And if you look, you can see, it's up off of it's rolling. And this piece right here on the left, that's kind of what I got. And anyway, but you can see I got a little bit of algae spots in there, so something to be aware of. And you're never really out of the woods with algae. It's just something you're just kind of fighting. You can kind of see it on the edges a little bit on that Anubias. But you just watch it and you maintain it. And I'm going to turn that blue light off really quick. Give you an idea. I don't want to throw things out of balance, but I'm running my green lights in the back for 8 hours, and the blue lights come on around 12, and then they go off about 3:30, about that time. So they're just kind of peaking for the midday sun and just enough to really boost the dwarf baby tier, and that's what it really took to push that over the top for low tech. Now here's the trick, and this is a trick. Since this is a low tech tank, I have to really be careful. With the high tech tank, I could be injecting CO2 and doing highlights. And what's interesting about that is what that really does is it gives these plants so much energy that they pull out the nutrients. It keeps the algae from growing because the plants win the battle. And so that's really the trick in a planted tank, is how to make sure the nutrients are there and the plants win the battle for food, not the algae. And so, like I said, I used over there, I used the media. I used this media. And you can buy that for those of you that have any other kind of filter. It's just a bag, and it's in a cloth. You could easily put that in one of the hanging filters. It should fit. It's not very big, but that would be a way to take care of it. The only other comment that I would make, I have no idea what these guys are doing over here, but the only other comment that I would make is do not, and this was just me, wow, those guys are kind of getting into it. Do not, check them out. Check out the cucumber. It's like a salad bar. But do not stop feeding your plants. So the worst mistake you can make when you have algae problems is to totally kill all the ferts and stop feeding your plants. I think that's a mistake. But you do want to do water changes. You may want to step up your water changes. You do want to make sure. That's why I love the black sand, because I can look in it and see if there's fish poop or too much food. But you want to be looking in that and making sure you don't have a lot of junk in the tank. The other thing too is you really want a clear tank. You know, if you have a lot of dirt or debris, or if you have, you know, your water's green, the clearer you get your water, the more light that is getting to your plants, and the better. And honestly, I'm huge for water flow. And one of the things you'll see on Dustin's tank and a lot of the other tanks is you'll see them put one of the, I just think of them as a fan, but they're not. They're like a powered jet for pushing water. They call them power heads, actually. But you'll see them stuck on the side of a glass just to keep the water moving. But the more water you move, some of these plants, especially like the wisteria, some of them actually, pull a lot of nutrients out of the water. And I'll tell you one other trick. Those plants are usually easy to spot. Let me see if I can see it here. Because if you look at them, yeah, I don't see it here. I cut so much out of there, and you can see the stalks where they cut down. But this wisteria, when it gets really big, you'll get a big bulk of it, and there'll be a ton of white roots hanging in there, just kind of floating. I don't really see it there. You can see it. Well, if you look back in that green, if we look really close, there's a bunch of fine roots in there. And when you see a plant that's shooting out roots like that, and that's a great sign that you can cut it and double down like what we talked about in the other video. It's also a sign that that plant is probably getting nutrients from the water. Well, you know, the Anubias is a good example because, you know, they're not even in the soil, right? When you can see that. Pete, let me change the lighting on you. There's a grade of the twig. All right, one last thing. The other thing that I did is I hit it with fish. So I added 3 of these twig catfish that are great. You can see there's a whiptail down here. He's a good algae eater. He's got a sucker lip. There is a rubber plec in here, Plecostomus, and I added him just because he was small. He only gets about 6 inches big, if I can find him. And then I added these guys too. These guys are the Siamese algae eaters, and they will eat all types of the algae that some of the other stuff will not eat. I do not have any Amano shrimp. I do have the ghost shrimp. I tried to do with the cherry shrimp and my serpes and some of my other fish. I have no idea what's up with these two. That's just the weirdest thing ever. Because, I mean, they're not even the same species. But whatever. What was I saying? Oh, the serpes were just eating the cherry shrimp like it was lunchtime. But I think I'm about done. I do have a rubber lip, but there are certain fish that you can focus on. I'm going to go ahead and post this video, give you guys some ideas of what I did. And then the other thing, I just like watching them eat on that cucumber. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to post some of the links. There was a great article that somebody wrote up on the old fish tank TV site about the different kinds of algae. I can't find it anymore. If anybody knows where that is, please let me know. I'd like to read that again. Always something to learn. But thanks for watching, and hopefully this answers the person who asked me to post a vid about how I fought the algae. The other thing too is, I mean, I cut a lot of the plants out. You know, I just cut my losses and just assumed that was dead growth. And some of these things down here that I didn't cut, I mean, you can see they're dead. I mean, they're just going to rot and decay. And they're just kind of hard to cut. But you can see the new growth coming from the roots. Anyway, so that's a good sign. All right, thanks guys for watching. I'll just kind of step back and give you guys a view of the tank. And thanks for keeping it real. Thanks to Dustin and Shane, and hope Dr. Tim's doing well. Shout out to all the people at Fish Tank TV, and good times, man. It's a great time of the year, fall. It's going to be winter soon, and just be a nice day to, cold rainy day is a cool day to sit and watch the fish and drink a cup of coffee. But take care, and thanks everybody for subscribing, and thanks for watching these videos, and anything anybody else wants to see or ask questions on, just let me know. Take care. Have a great Sunday, everybody. See you.